Today's filmmaking tip is a part 2 to the zigzag idea in filmmaking. In the video that I did previously, it was talking about all the different kinds of jobs where you might kind of zigzag between skills as you navigate through the industry. Today, the zigzag is about projects themselves. Have you ever started a project that you thought was going to be a feature film and then turned it into a short, or started writing a short and then it was a feature film? Or have you ever taken a short idea that you had or a feature film that you had and tried to turn it into a TV pilot, or taken a TV pilot and written it for a feature film or a short film? All of these are different zigzags in the way a project can develop and can give you insight into what you like about the project, what you're drawn to about the project, and trying to find kind of the best way to tell that story, or what's going to be the best vehicle. And it's something that, especially for writers, they recommend that you get used to writing in different kinds of styles and having different kinds of formats. And there's even now a resurgence in calls for writing for short stories. And what's next? Radio plays? I don't know. So this idea that how a story is told, or the kind of the vehicle or the container that it's told. This is a short film, this is a feature film, this is a TV pilot, this is a radio play or a stage play or a podcast, or a short story. These are all kind of just containers, but the story is the story. And sometimes it can be really helpful, especially if you're getting stuck with a project, to try out a different container and see what does it do you discover anything? Is there any new momentum that you can build this way? Certainly the short film to feature film adaptation is the most common. We try out a piece of our story in the short form format, and then we expand it into a feature film. Some short to feature adaptations started out with a feature film, like Whiplash. Many do not. Many traditionally start with a short film and then have ideas for a feature, but it's not really shaped until it gets going. But I do think that as you're working on projects, and especially if you're working on bigger projects, that in that time that you're developing it or trying to figure it out or fundraising for it, think about the different ways that you can workshop it in small ways. So, for example, with my feature film that I'm working on right now, Mustang Martha, we did both a table read for a audience through the Houston Cinema Arts Festival, which was wonderful, and we got a lot of great feedback. But then we also did a staged reading with the Baytown Little Theater actors and really got the play or the script up on its feet like a play. And it wasn't fully staged, there weren't sets or a lot of props. It was kind of minimally designed, but even just having blocking and staging and lighting of the scenes helped bring that story to life, helped generate interest, helped me see other insight into the script that has helped me in the rewrites. And there's just, I think it's always good to be flexible. There's a lot of talk right now about verticals. So do you have a project that's like, oh, let's try it as a vertical? Now, personally, my understanding of verticals is that they are more like commercials in terms of connecting with a vertical production company. It's more like going to an ad agency for a commercial. You're not really writing creatively for an ad agency outside of the system. You're kind of working within that, and that's my understanding of the vertical world. But that doesn't mean you can't audience build and creatively explore your story by filming chunks of your story as a vertical and releasing it over social media. because audience building, again, you're building buzz, you're building an invested group of people who want to see this story made into whatever shape it's going to be. But the catch is you're actually already making the story. You're already telling it in these little versions. And that can be so satisfying when you're on this kind of long road of creative development on projects, and again, especially on bigger projects. So, get creative. Is there a true life component to the themes of your project? I have a friend who wants to do a musical, dramatic feature film, but did a short documentary about the themes of that project, So, is there a documentary you can build from it? Is there a podcast that you can start building? And yes, they do take time away from your project, but again, if they are related to your project, they should be kind of working together. Again, audience building, creating momentum, creating interest, potentially bringing in funds, connecting you to people who can then make that larger project happen. So it's always a delicate balance. But, and sometimes a project is taking a long time and we'll do a different project instead. And that's a different kind of zigzag. But I want you guys to think about, like, okay, I've got this idea or this story, but what are all the different ways that you could put it out there that isn't necessarily what your first idea is? It might not necessarily be a feature film. It might be a play, or it might be some kind of live event. I know somebody else who did this kind of staged film multimedia event. And so those can be really cool and very exciting. And I think people are interested in finding these new and unusual kind of hybrid events because, again, it's something different. And it also shows your own creativity and your own innovation of your project. So again, it can be really great for you as well to explore and be experimental about it, and that can lead to the results that you are interested in for the larger, maybe more traditional project.